when you're using a skill saw, I want you to make sure that you wear eyewear and also earplugs. Now, if you were paying attention, you would have seen that I did not have my eyewear on. Bad Joe. He forgot it at home today. So whenever I cut, I always have to kind of squint a little bit because I don't want any sawdust or little bits flying up into my eyes. I should have remembered that. I wasn't prepared this morning, was I? Okay? So make sure you've got your eyewear on, and I've got just some little earplugs that I saved. They're plastic. You can get the foam ones too, and then after a while just change them out every couple months or whatever. But I use these extensively when I'm using the skill saw. Okay? Now, I'm not going to go into too much about how to use a skill saw on this particular video. One of these days, I'm going to have to make a video on how to use a skill saw, how to cut, how to maintain your skill saw, and some proper safety tips on a skill saw, okay? So this is not about how to use a skill saw. Hopefully you know how to use a skill saw. If you don't, I would suggest not using a skill saw like this for this project if you're first learning, because if you're not used to one, you could hurt yourself. You know, you might want to use a hand saw, a back saw, a jigsaw, or maybe an electric chop saw that you've rented if you don't have one. But I'll go through using a skill saw another time. Here's my electric skill saw. I might as well show you this. If you're not used to a skill saw, you want to get used to it first, you know. But I just put that on my foot like this. Pick up the skill saw, and I'm going to cut. I'm going to follow that line. I'm going to go to the right side of that line because this is the piece that's going to drop off. Now, before I told you if this piece is long, you might want to cut a rough cut first, but because this is a short piece, I'm going to cut on here, and then right before it drops off, maybe a ½ inch or 3/8 of an inch before it gets ready to drop off, I'm just going to push the saw a little bit quicker right at the end so I don't get it splintered off. Nice finished cut. And when I set my skill saw down, I might want to have a scrap piece of planking. When I set it down, I'll set it on that very carefully. I've seen lots of people, they'll set it right down on this frame like that and do it kind of hard. After a while, you could bend this frame or get it out of adjustment. And it's kind of tricky to kind of put it down like that. I mean, you can do it that way too. But I find if I'm just careful, I'll set it here and then roll it on the edge and gently place it down. Okay? But because I've got some of this scrap, I'll do that and set it down. Now this is not my scrap piece, so I'm gonna save this because it's got a finished end on it, so I can use this for a starter piece on the opposite end, you know, when I get ready to do a short piece. So what I'll do is I'll find a scrap. Let me see if I got a scrap. Okay, here's a scrap piece because I cut it on both ends. So I can't use that, again, for anything other than blocks or something like this. I'll just leave that there, set my skill saw right like that, and set it down.